स्कूल के बाद में आई थिंक एडमिशन कॉलेज में हो जाए, उसका भी स्ट्रेस। कॉलेज में एडमिशन हो जाए, उसके बाद में आई थिंक डिग्री मिल जाए, उस चीज का भी स्ट्रेस। डिग्री मिलने के बाद में आई थिंक जॉब लग जाए, उस बात का स्ट्रेस। जॉब मिलने के बाद में शादी हो जाए, उस बात का स्ट्रेस। शादी हो जाने के बाद में क्या स्ट्रेस जाएगा, यू ऑल नो। शादी हो जाने के बाद इट्स लाइक द स्ट्रेस ऑफ द किड्स, यू वांट टू हैव किड्स, उसका स्ट्रेस। बच्चे हो गए, उसका स्ट्रेस। हर चीज की स्ट्रेस। I think we have made stress a kind of a habit for us. It's like we can't approach, we can't, we can't live without stress. But is this stress doing good for us? I think no, no. Let's try to understand a bit about this stress and this habit. Now just imagine that you are having a boss. You're a very efficient worker, okay? In your workplace, you're a very efficient worker, but you are having a boss who is always grumpy. मतलब जो खुश ही नहीं कर सकते आप। मतलब आप कुछ भी काम करो वो दुखी रहने वाला है, दुखी आत्मा टाइप है वो, मतलब हर चीज में स्ट्रेस ही लेता रहता है। तो इफ द हेड ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन is working in a stressful manner, in an angry manner, in an inappropriate manner, so do you think it will affect your working in some way? Compared to the situation, now you are living in harmony. बॉस जो है बहुत सपोर्टिव है। बॉस जो है मतलब आप जो भी काम करते हो उसके लिए एकदम अच्छे से अप्रिशिएट करता है। सो इन दोस टू कंडीशंस, वेयर डू यू थिंक कि अपना प्रोडक्टिविटी अपन अच्छे से कर सकते हैं? You don't have an option of leaving your job. You have to be there. You have to work efficiently. But definitely, it's the second setting that we want. Now, our mind is the master controller of our body. It's going berserk. It's always in stress, always angry. Do you think it will have an impact on your body's organs? Definitely, yes, it will. You think about a day when you are happy, how well your body responds to it. And you think about a day when you are sad or when you are angry, how your body responds to it. It's all in a different way. Why this happens? Why there is so much of difference in the body just because of the way what we are feeling? That is because of now we are able to, we can say, put each emotions with a particular neurochemical. Means जब हम खुश होते हैं तो दिमाग में अलग तरह का केमिकल लोचा होता है, जब हम स्ट्रेस होते हैं तो एक अलग तरह का केमिकल लोचा होता है। बट हमारे बॉडी को खुश रहना अच्छा लगता है बिकॉज दैट्स द टाइम व्हेन our function, our body, it works in a better way. Now coming to how to break this habit of stress. Okay, how to break this habit what we have kind of formed. Now, how a habit is getting formed? A habit is formed when we are doing certain things more repeatedly. Okay, that comes into our reflex, or we can say that a habit is formed when we are conducting in a certain way always. Now, what is controlling our conduct? What is controlling it? Our thoughts are controlling it. It's our thoughts. And what is controlling our thoughts? It is our emotions. थोड़ा सा इसको सिंप्लीफाई करते हैं। अपने को लगता है कि एक्चुअली अपने थॉट्स अपने इमोशंस को कंट्रोल करते हैं। एक्चुअली दैट्स नॉट राइट। इट इज आवर इमोशंस दैट कंट्रोल्स आवर थॉट्स। कैसे? चलो एक सिंपल सा एग्जांपल आपको दे देते हैं। एक सिंपल सी सिचुएशन आप जस्ट इमेजिन करिए। नाउ यू हैव इन बिटवीन योर वर्क a 10 minutes break where you have to go to the canteen, order the food, eat the food, pay the bill, come back home. You go in a stressful mood to the clinic. Stressful boss है, उसने उसका लोड आपके ऊपर में डाला, आप एकदम स्ट्रेस हो गए, क्लिनिक पे गए, वहाँ पे गए, you like just get me this दाल फ्राई, get me this मटर पनीर and रोटी लेकर के आओ and ये लेकर के आओ and just how you just placed your order. And the guy just came and he's like उसने आपको दाल फ्राई की जगह पे उसने आपको दाल तड़का बना करके दे दिया एंड मटर पनीर के अंदर में मटर की मात्रा कम है और पनीर की मात्रा है वो थोड़ी सी ज्यादा हो गई। And then what will happen? Like, अरे ये क्या बनाया है, क्या बकवास है, ये कोई खाना बनाने का तरीका है, ये तो बॉस की प्रॉब्लम है, ये तुम कैसे करके खाना बना करके लेकर के आते हो? एंड देन ये इसी कंप्लेंट करूंगा, मैं उसी कंप्लेंट करूंगा। एंड यू गो टू द पर्सन जो कि पेमेंट करता है, अरे कैसा स्टाफ रखा है, क्या खाना बनाया, मेरा दिन खराब हो गया, गोवा का स्ट्रेस, इधर का स्ट्रेस। Now consider a different situation. Now you are over there in a happy, jolly mood. Same set of things have happened to you. You're in a good, happy, jolly mood. You're coming over there, and then someone serves you the food, same food, and you're in a happy mood. Do you respond in the same way? No. The thought process which is coming to your mind are totally different. Why? Because you emotionally are in a better state. So if we have to control our thoughts, that means we have to be emotionally at a better state. How to be emotionally at a better state? I want to be emotionally stronger. I want to be emotionally at peace. I want my emotions to work in our way. But ऐसा होता क्यों नहीं है? बहुत simple logic है, एकदम simple. It is because of expectations. Expectations from others. जितना simple लगता है, actually उतना simple है नहीं. What does this mean? It means कि my day depends on how you have performed a certain task. अगर आपने अच्छा किया तो मेरा मूड अच्छा रहेगा, आपने वो अच्छे से नहीं किया तो मेरा मूड खराब रहेगा। मतलब मैंने मेरे खुश होने का एंटायर भार आपके कंधों पे रख दिया। That is what expectations do for you. Means if I say that happiness is like a simple bulb, or your emotions are like a simple bulb, जिसका कंट्रोल मेरे पास में होना चाहिए। मैंने बटन दबाया, आई एम हैप्पी। मैंने बटन दबाया, आई एम जॉयफुल। लेकिन मैंने क्या किया हुआ है, मैंने उसके 300 बटन्स दुनिया में बांटे हुए हैं। सबके हाथ में एक एक बटन है। मतलब मेरी हैप्पीनेस कौन कंट्रोल कर रहा है? मेरी हैप्पीनेस कंट्रोल कर रहा है सामने वाला। हाउ दैट शुड पर्सन शुड वर्क। मेरा एलिवेटेड मूड कौन कंट्रोल कर रहा है? वो सामने वाला जिसके पास में मेरा स्विच है। लेकिन this actually help you? No. What we are trying to do, we are trying to control other people. We are trying to control how they should behave. And at the same time, what is happening? Actually, they are trying to control how we are doing our stuff. That is the basics about expectation. We should try to keep that key only with us and should not give that key to others. How to do that? That is the main dilemma, main question. How do we do that? It is, if we can put it into simpler things, I would suggest you to do 3 things in a day. How to attain that state wherein you are emotionally a bit more stronger. First is you have to practice gratitude. In a journal, daily at night, before you sleep, you have to mention this thing where you have to pay your gratitude towards all the things that has happened good to you. So stupid, yeah. इससे क्या होने वाला है? There are 10 reasons to be grumpy, but definitely there are 100 reasons in a day that we can be happy about. Simple things, very simple things. मैं सवेरे उठा and my wife just served me a bed tea. I'm really thankful for her. मैं सवेरे उठा and नीचे जब मैं ऑफिस के लिए जा रहा था, my washman just opened the lift gate for me. I'm really thankful for him. मैं ऑफिस जा रहा था, I was really getting late and there was this taxi जिसके लिए मुझे really पकड़ने का था, there were one more uncle, he also wanted the taxi, but then he said, "Beta, you are in a rush, आप लेकर के चले जाओ." I'm really thankful for it. Now, what happens is when we are practicing gratitude, we are trying to rewire our thought process. We are trying to rewire our emotions in a zone where we are trying to be a little bit more kind. We are trying to give a bit of more affection. We are trying to be a little bit more considerate to what people are around. Going by the rule of nature, going by the rule of Newton, each action has equal and opposite reaction. If you are giving something to the universe, it is bound to come back to you. You want to give stress, that will come back to you. Better thing to give is gratitude, isn't it? You also like when someone pats your back and says that, yeah, you've done a good job. And when you give a sincere thanks to other people who have done good things to you, it will try to create a different set of emotion in your mind, which will make you an emotionally more stronger person. Now, I can go hours and hours talking about gratitude, but considering the limitation of time, I would like to move on to the next thing what we should be doing on a daily basis. Next thing to do on a daily basis, as every night before we go to bed, is that we have to practice forgiveness. Don't carry that entire burden on you. इतना बड़ा कोई बहुत बड़ा पहाड़ आपके ऊपर में टूटा नहीं है. Whatever wrong has happened, just try to release that burden off, ease your shoulders, forgive. Forgiveness is one thing which all the faiths have considered as the best possible way to live a better life. Jesus also have said, when everyone was doing wrong to him, "Oh God, please forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing." And for Jains, for us Jains, we actually celebrate forgiveness. We have a perv, what is called as a Das Lakshan perv, and over there we celebrate a day, what is called as a forgiveness day, and we call it as Uttam Shama Dharma. It's for a reason. You cannot function if you can't forgive. The body cannot function if you cannot forgive. You cannot love if you cannot forgive. You cannot be compassionate if you cannot forgive. If you're having that big burden on your mind, wherein you are just keeping a tracks, storing all the files of all the wrongs that is being done to you, you really think you will be having a loving heart? It's not possible at all. In my 45 years of life, I've yet to see a person who was loved because he was having a lot of money. Yet to see a person who was loved because he was at a certain position, maybe in the organization or in the government, or he was loved because of his skills. Only way to get loved is to be compassionate, is to be loving. And only way to be loving and compassionate comes through forgiveness. The kind of neurohormones, neurochemicals that is released from your mind when you practice gratitude and when you practice forgiveness is actually the same as what we get when we are happy. That is about how to end your day. Now, coming to how to start your day. At the beginning of your day, you should always have a little plan, a small plan about what you would like to do today so that my life is getting more streamlined. My life is reaching where I want to reach. So give yourself small targets. Like मेरी मम्मी ने बोला था यार पूरा का पूरा कबर्ड साफ कर देना, पूरा का पूरा कबर्ड जो है गंदा पड़ा हुआ है, कबर्ड का सामान कबर्ड में नहीं हो गया, पूरे के पूरे रूम में फैला हुआ है. So just spend 10 days, not 10 days, take 10 minutes in organizing that. मैं रोज की ना सिर्फ 3 शर्ट घड़ी करके वहां से उठा करके अपने कबर्ड में रख दूंगा. Just these simple things. What will happen is at the end of 10 days, at least a sizable amount of your room will get clean. Now, when our life is organized, when we are finishing up the tasks, that is the biggest high that we get. मैंने इतना सोचा था, मैंने इतना काम कर लिया. That actually gives one a good high. That secretes certain chemicals in your brain, and you're like, yeah, I've done some work. I've done a good work. So you are starting your day on a positive note, and then you are taking this gratitude and forgiveness with you to carry throughout the day. That is where we can actually reach a state of mental wellness. We can actually fight stress. So what happens is sometimes we just look for the quick fixes. I am stressed, and you would have listened, heard, read somewhere. The only way to reverse being stressed is like it's written STRESSED. I want to reverse stress. I reverse it. It's called as DESSERTS. What we are trying to do? We're trying to find wrong solutions, wrong ways of how to deal with stress. Go to deserts. Deserts, okay, it feels good for some time, but is it helping our cause of reversing diabetes? No. Okay, till deserts is still fine. But what happens is you indulge in wrong habits. Drinking, smoking. Now, in what way you really think that drinking and smoking is going to cause an emotional wellness to you in any ways? No. In fact, that is one quick fix, which is absolutely wrong. Not one, in fact, all the three quick fixes, desserts, smoking, alcohol, in no way can help you to reverse your diabetes because you are not actually addressing the core issue. The core issue here is emotional well-being. And now time has actually come, and I'm really thankful for Sharadji to bring out this point of emotional well-being and stress before we go and discuss the rest of the things about diabetes, because this is the most neglected part. मतलब किसी का मान लो पैर टूट गया, गॉड फॉरबिड किसी का पैर टूट गया, अपन उसको बोलते हैं क्या, कह रहे चल ना, कुछ नहीं होता, पैर टूट गया, चल अपन घूम करके आते हैं. But what happens? How do we deal with that? If someone says, yeah, I'm stressed, yeah, I'm in a bad mood, somehow I am not feeling good. What do we say? अरे ठीक है चल घूम करके आते हैं. Okay, give them your time, but give them your compassion. Tell them that yes, I'm here with you. I'm here to help you sail through. I'm all ears to your problem. Together, we will do it. Give someone a helping hand. Give someone a helping ear. Be a bit more compassionate. Practice a little bit of more gratitude. And I think that is the best way to deal with stress.
Wonderful. Excellent point brought forward, Dr. Saurabh. Your presence also speaks that, you're practicing, qualities like, forgiveness, gratitude, and then planning your day, a little in advance, that certainly helps in keeping the stress under control. So we understand that, here, mental stress is becoming one of the very important factors. And the mind-body complex is such that, what is running in the mind gradually affects the body, and what's happening in the body gradually affects the mind. Many of us have heard this thing, and seen this thing working, but a lot of time people are not able to bring things into practice. And talking about, this diabetes and stress connection. So, what I understood, from, intelligent, people like you is that, stress has an impact on glucose levels. So can we try and understand this connection biologically?
Yes. So what happens when we are stressed? Stress creates two things in the body, and both of them are kind of interconnected. When you are stressed, there are a group of hormones which are released into your bloodstream, what is called as the cortisol or the stress hormone, and the norepinephrine and the epinephrine. They are the stress hormones. Their function is to help us to fight the stress. Now, for example, you are in a situation, मतलब आपके सामने मान लो शेर आ गया, है ना? शेर आ गया एकदम से. What will you do? अरे पकड़ करके भागने हमको, अरे शेर आ गया खा जाएगा, just run. So this is called as the flight and fright response. That is what the stress hormones are supposed to do in our body. कि अगर कहीं पे कुछ stress आ रहा है, boss, avoid it and निकल दो पतली गली से. Now, if you are in a situation जहाँ पे stress constantly आपके ऊपर में बैठा हुआ है, आप always, you know, you are on the hot seat, you know, it's like नीचे से एकदम आग लगी हुई है, अभी क्या करेंगे, you know, always you are in a state of stress. Then what happens is there is a constant release of stress hormones in your system. Now just imagine it with a situation. शेर आने के बाद जब मैं भागता हूँ, उससे थोड़ा सा कंपेयर करते हैं. What happens is when you are stressed, your heart rate is fast, your blood pressure increases, your muscles are trembling, you are sweating, your breathing is deeper. Now, this thing, which was actually important to make you get up and run, this state of your body, you are trying to maintain for 24 hours. At some time, your heart is also going to get fatigued. At some time, the stress hormones are going to fatigue your body organs. At some time, this high blood pressure, which is getting built up, is going to have its impact on different body organs. At some point of time, this stress is finally going to get you down. Unfortunately, there is not much of a medical ways, not much of a testing to check what kind of a stress you are in. But there has been numerous studies done internationally which have proven beyond doubt that if we keep our stress levels in check, it definitely has a better outcome in the management of your sugar. आप रोज एक ही तरह का खाना खाओ, रोज एक ही तरह की एक्सरसाइज करो, रोज एक ही से गोलियां खाओ, your body will respond in a better way. Means your sugars will be in a better way on the day when you are happy than on the day when you are stressed.
Okay, excellent. So you're saying that, medically there are limited options, to control that. So let's get to know from the doctor only what are the best ways, especially for a diabetic, basically, to manage stress and not allow the blood, sugar levels to rise.
So that is what actually we were trying to discuss in the past couple of minutes. So how we have to manage stress is the same for let it be a diabetic person or let it be a non-diabetic person. Now we have to understand one thing, that this root of diabetes, what we have reaped today, it was the seed earlier. What we are seeing a full-blown disease today, some time back, it was just in a tiny seed state. It was because of us. It is because of our doing things that we have let this seed blown to a full-blown tree, which is now blooming to give you these fruits of diabetes. We have to act at this state where it is still in seed. And this is the level of stress. The stress is the seed. You just try to attain a level of an emotional and a mentally balanced state. Try to bring down your level of stress. Definitely, once the seed is inactive, the fruit of diabetes will not be reached.
Okay. So patients coming to you and, you have to give them a regime to follow. So, what is advice that you give to them? Are there certain exercises, do you recommend them yoga meditation, pranayam, what exactly do you suggest them to build up their life, build a routine the way you were talking about? Of course, this, connects with all the things which we discussed in the beginning related to forgiveness and, gratitude. So all these things are built into those programs. As I've been practicing yoga for, 14, 15 years, this is what we've been seeing. So what exactly do you recommend to them?
Okay. So now we are coming to the second leg, which is about exercise. I'll take something from what we had discussed in my first session, some basics about diabetes, just trying to refresh your things.
Yeah.
So what happens is, what is this glucose? This glucose or this energy is the basic currency what our body needs to execute its daily needs. हम जो भी कर रहे हैं, श्वास ले रहे हैं, बात कर रहे हैं, देख रहे हैं, चल रहे हैं, हर चीज को करने के लिए हमको एनर्जी चाहिए, और ये एनर्जी हमको मिलता है ग्लूकोज से. यही जो हम खाना खाते हैं वो ग्लूकोज बनाता है, and that is what it is supposed to do. It is supposed to give us energy to do our daily needs. Now we are having a surplus of energy. We are having surplus of glucose. That means we should be having surplus of energy. We should be really energetic. But that doesn't happen that way. So this extra amount of glucose means they are like our savings. कि हाँ ये बाद में कभी तो काम में आ जाएगा, not right now, but let's save it for the future purpose. बाद में जब मेरे को जरूरत पड़ेगी, I will use it. Now we are so much saving for the future कि हम बढ़ते जाते हैं, कैसे? ऐसे. Because what we are seeing, our fat is nothing but just the storehouse of unused energy that we have saved for the future use. अभी हमारे शरीर में इतना सारा फैट आ गया, इतना सारा स्टोर हाउस ऑफ एनर्जी हो गई. What it starts to do is, now it doesn't let your body organs work in a normal way. मैंने इतना सारा पैसा जमा किया, इतनी सारी करेंसी जमा की कि नाउ मेरे पास घर में मूव करने की जगह ही नहीं बची. अभी मेरे पास घर में मूव करने की जगह नहीं बची means at some point of time it will start affecting my normal working also. That's what happens in diabetes. You have stored so much of energy, unused energy in you, that it is not letting your organs work in a normal way. Your pancreas is tired. अरे यार इतना सारा फैट मेरे साथ में रहता है. I want to spread on my bed and sleep like this, yeah. लेकिन I have to share my bed with this stupid fat. That's what happens in the system. We have surplus of money. We are millionaire in terms of the calories what we have stored inside us. Now we have to reverse our diabetes. We have to let our pancreas be a little bit more happy. We have to remove the fat out of it. What's the way? Spend it. जो इकट्ठा किया है, जिसकी जरूरत नहीं है, it is extra for you. Spend it. खर्चा करो पैसों का. Spend the money out. That's how you're going to lose this money. That's how you're going to lose this fat. अभी पैसे आपको खर्चा करने बोले, that's such a nice thought ना. We are talking about reversal now, so we have to take the reverse ideas also, है ना? We are discussing things in a reverse way. अभी मुझे पैसा खर्च करना है, मेरे पास में एक्स्ट्रा पैसा है, अनयूज्ड पैसा है, जो कि मेरे सर्वाइवल के लिए अभी मेरे पास में उससे कहीं ज्यादा मेरे पास में है, मुझे इसे खर्च करना है. How do we do it? We'll go out shopping, isn't it? That's the best way to do. Similarly, if you want to burn out your fat, if you want to reverse your diabetes, best way to go is go ahead and do exercises. That's the best way. जो काम शॉपिंग करता है ना, बस वही काम exercises करता है. Now, exercises also, we can put it into different ways. Like पैसे खर्च करने के भी हमारे पास में अलग अलग तरीके हैं, शॉपिंग करने के भी हमारे पास में अलग अलग तरीके हैं. We want to spend more money. आज का मेरा टारगेट है कि आज मैं ना बहुत सारा पैसा कमाऊंगा मैं, और पैसा खर्चा करूंगा, जो मैंने कल खर्चा किया आज मैं उससे ज्यादा खर्चा करूंगा. That is our target today. That is the game that we are playing today. So we have to in, indulge in certain activities where I'm spending more. I'm spending more currency. I'm spending more energy. So best way to spend energy is going ahead and doing some kind of a physical activity. Whatever kind of physical activity you like to do. You want to play a sport? Excellent. You want to go out doing a walking? Excellent. You want to go out for a swim? Excellent. All kind of physical activities work well for your system. Now point comes, I want to do a little bit more. मुझे थोड़ा सा और ज्यादा पैसा खर्चा करना है, दिस इज तो ओके. मतलब मैं शॉपिंग करने जाता हूँ, ठीक है, आई एम गोइंग टू एन आउटलेट मॉल एंड डूइंग शॉपिंग. मैं क्या करता हूँ ना, आई विल गो टू द सिटी के सेंटर वाला शोरूम, जो बेस्ट शोरूम है ना, मैं वहां पे जाकर के करूंगा. तो उसमें क्या होगा, मुझे एडिशनल टैक्स भी पे लगेगा एंड आई बी एबल टू बर्न माई कैलोरीज. आई बी एबल टू उड़ाओ माई मनी मोर. आई बी एबल टू बर्न माई कैलोरीज इवन फास्टर. मेरे को डबल बेनिफिट मिल रहा है. दैट इज वॉट थिंग्स लाइक एंटी ग्रेविटी एक्सरसाइजेज डू. सो हियर अब जो कैलोरीज हम बर्न कर रहे हैं वो थोड़ा सा और ज्यादा हो जाता है. Now, what is anti-gravity exercises? We all know gravity is like things which are going down. It goes down because of gravity. We have to engage in activities where we are rising up. Those are anti-gravity exercises. They are more strenuous than doing normal exercises because they require more energy to burn the calories. You can walk very easily on a normal ground, but if I ask you to climb the stairs, that's a bit of a challenge. Now it's very easy to keep when I am coming down while doing the push-ups, but when I am going up, that is difficult. That is the impact of what gravity can do for you. So any kind of a physical activity that you enjoy doing them, that you will sustain doing, that you would like to do on a daily basis, is definitely going to give you the benefits of losing out these calories. And then, बात शॉपिंग की है और ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग की बात नहीं करें तो ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग भी हम करेंगे, है ना. एंड ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग में भी हमें खर्चा करना है ना, तो वी विल गो ऑन सम वेरी बोगस प्रोडक्ट्स, वेरी बोगस कंपनीज, जहाँ पे मुझे मालूम है कि मैंने प्रोडक्ट के लिए पैसे तो भरे लेकिन प्रोडक्ट ही नहीं आया. अभी पेपर में खबर थी ना, एक आदमी ने आईपैड खरीदा और बदले में उसको साबुन की टिकिया मिली. ऐसे बोनस प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए हमको और ज्यादा वी आर रियली लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड फॉर इट, because what it is doing is it is giving us a double pleasure that I am losing my money और मुझे कुछ मिल भी नहीं रहा है. मैं शॉपिंग करने भी गया और शॉपिंग करके कुछ मिला भी नहीं. But that is those exercises which, apart from helping you to lose your calories, helping you to lose the extra energy, is also helping you some way in reversing your diabetes, or it is giving you an additional benefit कि वो बॉडी का इंसुलिन प्रोडक्शन को भी थोड़ा थोड़ा करके स्टिमुलेट कर रहा है. That is where the yoga comes in. You are burning calories, but there are certain asanas, certain pranayams which are so effective where we are not only burning the calories, at the same time we are also trying to stimulate the pancreas. Now, in a nutshell, what are these asanas? And I have an expert with me, Sharaji, who is a yoga expert and one of the person I really look forward to. He will be taking, I think, this thing further in the next session. But just to put the context, just to set the table, is the asanas, which is helping us to move our core, move our spine, move your spine. Most of the time when you are walking, you're moving your limbs, you're moving your hands. But one thing which is a little bit neglected is our spine. You have to rotate. Torso को move करना बहुत जरूरी है. What happens when we are moving the torso? It's the blood supply which is in the internal side of our body also improves. Now there are certain asanas that we can do which really helps to stimulate the blood supply of the pancreas. They are mainly the forward bending asana like Mandukasana or Padangusthasana, or if we are doing the Surya Namaskar. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with the names. Like there is something what we call as Pavan Muktasana, and they will be dealt really in a beautiful way in the coming sections. But the whole idea is when we are trying to stimulate our pancreas, they give us an additional edge wherein we can go ahead and do a bit of diabetes reversal along with what we are aiming at, losing the calories.
Wonderful.
Apart from that, there is also innumerable benefits what we get by doing meditation. By just sitting in the plain meditative pose, it is like a beautiful pose which has an n number, means hundreds of benefits. What is a simple meditative pose? No, it's not about like sitting on the chair. No, आप बैठिए आराम से, keeping your spine erect. Sit in a good sukhasana. Sit in vajrasana. Sit in padmasana. Whatever goes as per your strength, that has a beautiful effect on the energy levels that you have inside. That has a beautiful effect in maintaining the harmony of the organs. That is a beautiful effect in maintaining the blood supply to the organs. That has a beautiful effect in maintaining the emotional tranquility that we all are dealing with. That is how we can do to be a spendthrift where we have to spend all the energies, we have to spend all the calories. That is what we aim when we are looking at the exercises part or the second leg of diabetes reversal.
Yeah. Wonderful. Excellent, Dr. Saurabh. Generally when we are conducting yoga sessions, often, the yoga, the meditation, pranayams are often common between diabetes and obesity. And I can understand, when you're talking about these things, why, those are exactly common postures. So when you talked about the forward bending and, the anti-gravity. So all the forward bending, once you bend forward, then you have to, come back again. So that works, as the anti-gravity, and whether it is you're doing push-ups or you're doing chaturanga dandasana. So a lot of those things are there. And then when you talked about twisting your body, moving the core, so I'm reminded of, good postures like Ardha Matsyendrasana, it involves, and the Kati Chakrasana. So a lot of those postures, asanas are there, which, we often help people, with who are, high in weight and perhaps could have, diabetes related, comorbidities. So the question here is that, often certain kind of things are not possible for senior citizens, elders. They may not be so comfortable climbing up the stairs or, doing those kind of asanas. Even those who are actually having any kind of a blood pressure, kind of a comorbidity, it may not be possible for them to perform Kapalbhati kind of thing, which is very good for obesity and diabetes. So what do you suggest, for people who are, handled with care?
Now, there is no one single rule in terms of coming to the exercise. It's not like that कि बस ये ही तरीका है और कोई तरीका नहीं. No, it's not like that. The whole idea is you should be able to enjoy that workout that you are doing. I don't want you to put in some kind of a pain when you are doing it. It has to be a relaxed, enjoyable, a very pleasurable feeling when you are doing the yoga. It's okay. You cannot do certain kind of yogas. You better do something else what your body is capable of doing it. जो आपकी body कर सकते हैं, आप उतने तक करो ना. आपको benefit उतना ही मिलेगा. It's not like that कि आपने ये थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा किया तो डेफिनेटली हाँ, फिजिकल लेवल पे यस, बट यहाँ कुछ ना करने से इट इज एटलीस्ट बेटर दैट वी डू समथिंग दैट वी कैन डू as per our physical comfort. And yes, with time, with practice, slowly we will be able to reach there. For so many years, we have been inactive. For so many years, we have not done a certain exercises. I cannot expect, or even अगर मुझे भी आप बोलोगे, मुझे आदत ही नहीं है बस पकड़ के बस को पकड़ने की, और अगर सडनली आप मुझे बोलो वो बस जा रही है, दौड़ करके पकड़ो, it's not going to be possible. It's not possible. I am lazy. मुझे गाड़ी की आदत है, मुझे चाहिए कि गाड़ी मेरे घर के सामने आकर के मुझे लेकर के जाए। आप बोलो दौड़ करके जाओ, ट्रेन पकड़ो, दौड़ करके जाओ, बस पकड़ो, मुझसे नहीं होगा। बट इफ मुझे रोज बस से ही जाना है, तो धीरे 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 करके आई विल गेट दैट स्टैमिना, आई विल रीच देयर, जहां पे कि मैं हाँ आई कैन मे बी रन अ बिट एंड कैच द बस।
That's excellent. Wonderful. Excellent. So ideally, how much time is advisable? What do you suggest? So because you can understand from how much calories, a diabetic must be required to burn on a daily basis, because they need to somewhere compensate for all the wrong things that have been already present in their body. So how much time do you advise them to be actually spending for their well-being?
How much time for well-being? I think throughout the day you should be enjoying the well-being.
But then, at
But
physical
yes,
level,
how much time you would like to spend on doing exercises? So if there is a crunch of time that you are facing, I will normally what I suggest to most of my patients is at least 45 minutes in the morning or in the evening. Go for a walk, do some light exercises, go for your yoga. That is something what we can all do. And secondly, if possible, after each meal that you are having, go for a small walk. Say after 15 minutes of having your meal, just walk for around say 10 to 15 minutes to begin with. And slowly, if you can put in climbing stairs or doing a little bit more of anti-gravity exercises post your meals, that will be the best and the ideal scenario if we are looking at diabetes reversal.
Okay, excellent. So all these are wonderful observations, Dr. Saurabh. What actually happens is that, people generally, when they come home tired, in the morning they were in the hustle and bustle. When they came back home, they want to get into their, own cocoon, and, feel comfortable. Often people who are getting really very late coming back from office, there is perhaps no such time, awkward schedules people have. And then, they're already early signs in them. They might be pre-diabetic, so, or they may be diabetic. So what do you suggest? How they can, and what they can change to, benefit that? Should they take some time out in between? What exactly they should do?
So when you are in a work field, which is kind of very demanding, or wherein you have to sit for a long time, I always suggest them that put a reminder on your phone wherein after every half an hour, after every 45 minutes, there is a small beat where you get up, go to the water cooler, have a sip of water, and come back. That's a simple thing what we can adjust in our daily routine. Secondly, wherever possible, try to walk. Wherever possible, try to walk. If your office is, say, on the seventh floor, I don't expect you to climb seventh floor. But what you can do is you can take the lift to sixth floor and climb one stair. You can do that. And climbing up is difficult, but coming down is always easy. Whenever you have to get down, you can use the stairs. Slowly, slowly get into the habit of getting down on the fifth floor. Then you have to climb 2 flights of stairs. When you are in crunch of time, definitely then we have to include exercises somewhere in your daily routine. It can be done. There are many ways to do it. Suppose आप बस से जा रहे हो, एक ऑफिस पे या आपकी कार से जा रहे हो कहीं पे भी, car becomes more convenient. It's like Bombay ki lifestyle, people use a lot of bus or people use a lot of train. Now, if you have time, then while going back home, maybe from the bus stop or from the train station, you can just walk back home. Or if you really have time, maybe you can get out one stop before your design stop and you can go back home walking. Somewhere in your schedule, you have to find, you have to include this time wherein we are focusing to include the exercises in your daily schedule. If you're finding it really difficult to take out extra time, then include it in this particular way.
Okay, excellent, wonderful. These are wonderful tips coming from a doctor and a doctor who stays in Mumbai, and then he can relate to people. Their kind of active work life. They must be having their offices on one floor or the other. By the time they catch their train or bus or get into their car, the traffic scenario is already worsened. Almost everyone is in the rush to home, and by the time you're going to reach home, you know what the clock will be ticking. So very valid inputs, using the stairs wherever possible. I think that's a wonderful suggestion. And as much as possible, something is better than nothing. If you cannot climb
Also,
7th floor, maybe you can
sometimes
start with
what I
one
do is sometimes even I also find very difficult कि कहाँ पे मैं exercise को include करूँ. So now I've stopped using formal shoes. I only wear sport shoes. Like I've got a very standard black color sport shoes, which people just take it out like they are my formal shoes. And wherever I find time, I keep on walking. Hospital is 18 floors building. जहाँ पे भी लगे नीचे उतरने के लिए तो at least I can use the stairs to come down. कहीं पे भी ठीक है 2 floors पे ही ऊपर मेरे को जाना है, instead of waiting for the lift वहाँ पे time waste करो, उससे अच्छा ठीक है just climb the stairs and go. You are stuck in a traffic. मालूम है यहाँ पे बहुत टाइम लगने वाला है, ठीक है, leave the car over there, walk a little bit home. कहीं ना कहीं पे we have to include, we have to make these changes wherein it becomes a little bit more practical to include the exercise in your routine.
Excellent. So this was all about, keeping yourself physically active, burning your calories, and this in some way keeps a check on the cholesterol, all the things. This is good part. But then, along with that additional part which we had discussed in the beginning also, and to which we dedicated our previous session, was diet and nutrition. So Dr. Vandana and Dr. Srikumar did full justice, discussing the entire, gamut of things related to diet and nutrition, why and how it is really important.
So I must say that the last session was really great, and Dr. Sri Kumar and Dr. Vanna, they were just outstanding. They were just so good. But just taking the conversation forward, the little game that we are playing in, wherein we are trying our best to be bankrupt, wherein we are just trying to lose all the extra amount of a cash that we have.
Yeah.
Diet plays a very important role. So, ये गेम के अंदर में डाइट का क्या रोल है? मेरे को एनर्जी, मुझे पैसे उड़ाने हैं, उसमें डाइट का क्या रोल है? डाइट का ये रोल है कि डाइट आपके पास में और पैसे लेकर के आ रहा है. दे आर लाइक योर सैलरीज, जो कि इनपुट्स जो कि आपके पास में एक्स्ट्रा होते हुए जा रहा है. which is making the game even more difficult कि मैं पैसे पूरे के पूरे कैसे खर्च करूँ. Okay, so now we have to plan it a little bit more systematically. If I have to lose money, I will lose money in a better way. Okay, so let's do it. Let's see कि हमारे पास में पैसे कहाँ से आते हैं. Most important source of my money is the salary that I'm getting, right? तो अगर मैं मेरे सैलरी को कट कर दूं, that's not possible यार. मैं क्या करूँगा? कुछ तो कमाना पड़ेगा, बाहर तो जाना पड़ेगा काम करने के लिए. So what I will try to do is, I will try to change my job. Now try to understand what is this salary. This salary is basically the energy that we are getting in our diet through carbohydrates. That's the major chunk of our diet. Jahan se energy aa rahi hai, where we are getting it, is the carbohydrate, which is your salary. It is very essential. अभी खाना नहीं खाएंगे तो भी मुश्किल है. मतलब कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स को मेरे पूरे के पूरे खाने में, अगर खाना में नहीं भी खाऊंगा तो भी मुश्किल है. अभी मैं क्या करूँ? Now I have to invest in certain food which are like fillers, and I call them like chiller. कि मेरी सैलरी में जो मुझे मिल रहा है, आई एम इन्वेस्टिंग ओनली ऑन द चिल्लर. कि मुझे सैलरी में अगर सिर्फ चिल्लर मिलते हैं तो मेरा पेट तो भर जाएगा, लेकिन मुझे एनर्जी नहीं मिलेगी. So what are these food which are like fillers, which are like chillers, which are like the main thing that we have to focus on? There are certain things in our diet which only help to fill up our stomach without giving us any kind of a nutrition. Any kind of a vegetable which grows above the ground has that benefit in them. जो ground के नीचे होते हैं, they have a lot of carbohydrates in them. Let it be potato, let it be your yam, let it be your beetroot. They are very high in carbohydrates. So we have to look for options which are low in carbohydrates. Best thing that you have to go for is go for green leafy vegetables. Greens do amazing job. They are alkaline to your system. They have amazing antioxidant properties, which works amazing to reverse your state of inflammation, which diabetes brings in. Greens, definitely, point number one. Second is pulses. You have to include beans and pulses in your diet. They also help to fill your stomach, but they don't give you those extra calories. Third thing is the seeds. Try to include a lot of seeds in your diet. Let it be flax seeds, let it be chia seeds, let it be pumpkin seeds, let it be any kind of a seed. Again, very rich in antioxidants, very rich in anti-inflammatory properties, help to fill up your stomach, help to curb the hunger, but does not increase your blood sugar. Fourth thing is nuts. Overnight soaked almonds, there is nothing better thing like that. रोज रात को 6-7 बादाम आप भिगो करके रख लो. चाहिए तो 2 उसके अंदर में अखरोट भी डाल दो. चाहिए तो थोड़ा सा नॉन सॉल्टेड पिस्ता आप ले लो. Best antioxidant properties, helps to curb your appetite, helps with your inflammation, but does not give you more calories. So we have to invest in these kind of we have to include these chillers or these fillers into our diet. Cut down on your salary, increase the amount of this food. Secondly, like what we have in yoga, wherein we are finding out certain ways wherein we are stimulating our pancreas. There are certain food items which also help to stimulate your pancreas, which we can really think of including in our diet. Like certain seeds, yeah, like the fenugreek seeds. Yeah, methi dana really works very good for diabetes. Certain fruits like jamun, yes, works really good in diabetes. Certain vegetables, they are bitter, but bitter is good. It really works in diabetes, like the bottle gourd, karela. You would have seen people who are actually drinking the karela ka juice in the morning. Really helps to bring down the sugar. Ashcard juice really works well. Wheatgrass juice really works well. Include more greens into your diet if really we are looking at some point where we want to decrease the blood sugar. Again, if we have a look at a certain diet, what I normally suggest to my patients it kind of becomes very depressing at times. Yeah, डॉक्टर साहब बोल रहे हैं यार शुगर मत खाओ, डॉक्टर साहब बोल रहे हैं यार आलू मत खाओ, डॉक्टर साहब बोल रहे हैं यार फ्रूट्स मत खाओ, आम मत खाओ, ये मत खाओ, चावल नहीं खाओ, खाऊं तो खाऊं क्या? You should always give them certain alternatives. ठीक है, आप ये कट डाउन कर रहे हो, but you switch it up with this. So what alternatives I give to my patients? First thing is we have to be a bit racist when we say in terms of the rice. I say no whites. No white sugar. No white sugar in your diet. No milk chocolate in your diet. No Bengali sweets in your diet. You have to have a fruit, a kind of a sugar-free diet. आधे लोग तो उसी में ही सोच रहे यार क्या विदाउट शुगर वाला सब चीज देने की जगह. Now we have sugar replacement. What we can use. We have stevia. It gives you a taste of sweetness, but it does not actually spike your blood sugar. You can use to some extent honey. You can use to some extent jaggery. If you are a chocolate fan, then I think black chocolates are a better deal for you. And Bengali sweets, choose for Sundays. Sundays are a little bit better. That is how we have to give them certain options that if you can't have this, we have this. Second food item is about the grains. Rice doesn't go well with diabetes. We know rice has a very high glycemic index, but if I say the same thing to a South Indian whose diet is entirely rice-based, he will say, "Hey, doctor पागल हो गया, क्या मैं खाएगा क्या यार? मैं पूरा दिन तो मेरा चावल ही खाता है, इडली खाता है." Give them options. Okay, you want to have rice, you can have red rice, you can have brown rice, you can have that, I'm forgetting the name, that thick Kerala rice, what we get. You want to have South Indian preparations, okay, you can use, instead of using conventional rice, you use maybe of rava. You can have rava upma, you can have rava idli, you can have maybe oats, you can have muesli. These are the what we can use to replace rice what you have. Third thing, what I say is strictly no are fruit juices and sweet fruits and sometimes coconut water, not water. Instead of putting our focus on क्या नहीं खा सकते, let's put our focus on क्या खा सकते. What is good in diabetes? What kind of fruits we can have? Most fruits, again, they are sweet, but their glycemic index is very good. You can try it.
We'll just take a small pause here, Dr. Saurabh. Is there a problem with the sound? In between, there were misses actually. Just want to make sure.
Yes, sir. थोड़ा साउंड प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. कुछ स्लो आ रही है.
So, Dr. Saurabh, you want to switch over to system audio? Just came all of a sudden, actually.
Well, sorry about it. I think my AirPod just went off.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So,
yeah. So we were discussing about the fruits that we can have.
yes.
Certain fruits which are really good in diabetes. What I mentioned earlier. Yeah, like jamun. We can really have jamun. We can have apple. We can have pear. We can have pomegranate. We can have maybe a slice of papaya. We can have muskmelon. We can have kiwi. Those are a really good handful amount of fruits that we can take in diabetes. Yes, they are sweet also. They give us a sense of sweetness. But again, whatever fruits that I have mentioned, you are not allowed to take any kind of a juice. Why this bias towards the juice? So just imagine if I have to make, say, apple juice. To make 1 glass of apple juice, I have to sacrifice almost 4 or 5 apples. And if I ask you to eat 4 and 5 apples, how full you would be. And if I ask you to drink 1 glass of apple juice, how good you would be. We have thrown away all the good, healthy fibers from while processing the juice. And what we are having is just the concentrated sugar part, which again doesn't serve the purpose what we are actually having. Fourth part is coming to the tubers or the vegetables that we can't eat, or we should try to restrict. So these are mainly potatoes, they are beetroot, all the kind of vegetables which are going under the soil. But what, on the other hand, what we can have a lot of other vegetables. In fact, we should be having a lot of vegetables. We should be having salad. We should be having soups. In fact, we should be having a lot of greens in our diet. If we are cutting out on this, then we have an option of using this. The fourth option, or the last option, is we have to cut down on maida. Now, maida is everywhere. It's just everywhere in our diet.
It's another white.
Yeah, again, one more white. So it's there everywhere. So like, it's there in your pizza, it's there in your pasta, it's there in your Maggi, it's there in your biscuits. You name the things and it is made up of maida. Now what do? It is there in your bread. Oh yeah, bread too, I just love. So what we can do is we can just replace it with the whole wheat one or the multigrain one. We had whole wheat breads, we have multigrain breads, we get multigrain biscuits, we have whole wheat Maggies, we have multigrain pasta. So definitely we can choose a more healthier option. And the last but not the least is we have to resort to a vegetarian diet. Technically, our gut is not meant for digesting non-vegetarian food. It takes a lot of effort for our gut to digest non-vegetarian food, whereas a plant-based diet is more easily digested. So for a system which is already in a lot of stress, you don't want to give an additional stress of digesting something which is not agreeable to your system. So have food which is easily digestible. Those are the fine tips what I would like to give you on diet. We all अरे कभी कभी तो यार आलू बड़ा खाने का मन करता है मेरा भी. अरे मैं कभी कभी बिरयानी खाने का तो मेरा भी मन कर रहा है. That means मेरी तो लाइफ ही पूरी की पूरी अभी बेकार हो गई है. How do I deal with that? That itself is giving me so much of stress. I am so much depressed. If I divide you of eating something that you really like, it creates a negative impact. But again, I would like to put your attention to this fact that managing diabetes is all about striking a balance. अगर आप घर में ज़्यादा पैसे लेके आ रहे हो, at the same time, you will have to find out ways to spend those money. You have to find a balance. अगर मैं को एक वड़ा पाव खाने का है, तो ठीक है. That means मुझे जो extra calories मिलने वाली हैं वड़ा पाव से, I will try to balance it by adding some fillers. ठीक है, एक वड़ा पाव खाया, लेकिन उसके साथ में मैंने खूब सारा सैलेड खाया और मैंने खूब सारा उसके बाद में मैंने एक वेजिटेबल ग्रीन जूस पिया और उसके बाद में मैं जाकर के थोड़ा सा एंटी ग्रेविटी एक्सरसाइजेस भी कर करके आया. Then you will be able to even have those snacking things in between, provided you are very strict with your routine. तो मैंने आपको क्या करना है, कहाँ पे चीट कैसे करना है, सबके बारे में बता दिया।
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Saurabh. These are all wonderful tips and advices. There's one observation which often comes, when I've heard a couple of doctors, doing is that trying to get to know the amount of processed food which is there in the diet of people. And this processed food could be, anything packaged which is there. So what's your take on it? So should diabetics stop it? Absolutely.
I am absolutely against packaged foods. So we had touched base on this point last time in the last session on. Imagine, like, how is it just possible to maintain the same taste in all the bottles of that particular product that you are having? That's just not possible. People say, oh yeah, it is orange juice. Arey, to sare ke sare oranges same taste karte hain kya? Not possible only. What you are having is just bunch of preservatives, bunch of taste enhancers with some maybe oranges inside them to have it. And whenever we are having something which is so unnatural, your system is not going to accept it. Your mind may, but your body is just not going to accept it because it is going to create a state of inflammation inside you. N number of studies, N number of research papers we have been able to read where we have actually linked these preservatives with certain diseases, what is happening to us. Basically, again, what we are doing is we are paying to get diseased. I just feel that what is being put on any kind of a smoking pack, that smoking kills. I am a very strong believer preservatives kills too. You have to stop having preservatives. If you have an option of having a fresh food, why not have a fresh food? Why to go for preservatives?
One. Yes, very true, very true. So, Dr. Saurabh, you've been treating diabetes patients for long. Can you discuss one of the cases or instances where, people with their, of course, following their advice and, using their willpower, they reversed? Can you discuss one or two of those cases with us?
Oh, yeah, they are really very, very rewarding. They are very rewarding. So there was this one gentleman in his mid-60s. He was a builder, can't take his name, but he was a diabetic for almost 10 years. He came to me because I was doing some kind of a health checkup. I was seeing his reports and we just managed to just talk about his diabetes. His sugars always used to be in the range of 200 to 300 in spite of being on insulin, in spite of taking the tablets. And then I just discussed, what is happening with you, where you are going wrong. He was saying, I can't help it. Both my parents are diabetics. I'm bound to get it. I'm having just so much of stressful work. I'm a builder. I have to manage a lot of things. That is building out so much of stress for me. Okay, that's fine. And then when I looked into his diet history, oh man, he was eating all the right things to get himself de-stressed. Stress ka pura ulta kar diya tha unhone. Only thing that he thought is best to deal with being stressed is having desserts. If you are having a lot of sugar in your diet, how do you expect your medicines to work? With the right kind of a guidance, with the right kind of an understanding, he finally understood that he has to find better ways to deal with his stress. And he actually started meditating. He started doing yoga. He started going out for walks. Then he started including walks into his work pattern. And he changed his diet radically. And next time when he saw me after a month, without actually making any kind of a diet, any kind of a medicinal changes, I found that his sugars now were remaining normal. Slowly, we made an attempt of decreasing him on his insulin requirement. We started decreasing his insulin. And over a period of time, when he was following the same regime, he started losing weight also. And that's where actually things started showing up. When he started to lose weight, we could see that he could manage his blood sugars even with a lower dose of the tablets. And then gradually we brought his tablets to the least possible dose. And after an year, I was actually able to stop his tablets completely. And now it's been almost 5 years, and that guy is doing just superbly, managing his sugars quite well, managing his life quite well without taking any kind of medication.
Wonderful, excellent. So, this is so inspiring and understanding, that, people really have to bring a lifestyle change to make things happen. And along with that, what we are able to understand is that when people are attempting to reverse it, it's very important to do it under the guidance of, a good diabetologist. Yeah. So thank you so much, Dr. Saurabh, putting light on this. One thing which, of course, there is a question asked by Ratani ji, and the question is that why medicine or diet sometimes not making any changes in the sugar level after a long time of, say, 15 or more years of DM treatment. What do you have to say on that?
Because आप कुर्सी पे बैलेंस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, वो कुर्सी के सिर्फ 2 ही पाए हैं, बाकी के 2 पाए पे भी फोकस करो, which is exercise and stress management. So definitely your diabetes will be much better controlled.
So another question is that do DM patient need tests for stress hormones, or is that something like that required?
Unfortunately, we can't assess the stress with the help of blood test, but there are the markers what we actually have a look. So what are these markers? And they are very easy for you also that you can actually do at a much more basic level. You have a look at your resting heart rate. The heart rate when we are sleeping, that is when we are resting. If your resting heart rate remains in the zone of 50 to 60, that is the best. How to actually assess the level of stress is, first आप देखो आपका basic on an average resting heart rate कितना रहता है, and then start engaging yourself in the de-stressing activities, what we have just discussed. And after a week, keep on monitoring that by following emotional hygiene or by following something so that we are in a better emotional state. What is your resting heart rate? As your resting heart rate will keep on coming down, you know that you have managed your stress a bit better. Because finally, heart को beat करने के लिए भी energy तो चाहिए ना. अभी 1 minute में heart 120 times beat कर रहा है और 1 minute में heart 60 times beat कर रहा है, which is it is definitely 60 minutes.
Okay. So, Dr. Saurabh, all these things which we have been discussing so far are related to type 2 diabetes, and, we know a lot of comorbidities happen, along with that. What about type 1 cases? What are the possibilities for them to reverse?
Unfortunately, in type 1 diabetes, there is no insulin. So because there is no insulin in the system, it is not possible to reverse their case. Most important for us to understand is to label a patient correctly as type 1 and type 2. Most of the time, patients are wrongly labeled as type 1 diabetes just because कि उनको लगता है कि नहीं tablets काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, अभी सिर्फ insulin पे ही चलेगा तो अभी वो type 1 हो गया है. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता. Type 1 happens only when there is what we call as insulin resistance. मतलब gatekeeper खड़ा है पर effective gatekeeper नहीं है. बैठे बैठे मोबाइल पे गेम खेलता रहता है, जिसको अंदर आना है अंदर आते जाते रहते हैं. बट अगर गेटकीपर खड़ा ही नहीं है, like if there is no insulin, then there is no check. You can impart some sense on the gatekeeper who is not working effectively, but जहाँ पे gatekeeper ही नहीं है, you cannot do anything. It's not possible to reverse that condition. But again, following a diet regime, doing regular exercises, having a correct emotional balance helps to bring down your insulin requirement. जितना आपको जरूरत है उससे requirement कहीं ज़्यादा कम हो जाती है.
Okay, excellent. So now can we, knowing the type 1 and the type 2 and the challenges, majorly with type 1, those who have diabetes running in the family. Now what are the suggestions for them? Perhaps it's possible that they may not be having the correct lifestyle. There are possibility, a lot of them are obese also. Those cases are there. Now, bringing all the principles of, what all we've discussed in today's session, can these people also get help with that and can manage it better?
Of course, yes. Now you have a seed, but if you don't give that seed favorable conditions to germinate, will it germinate? It won't. So like what we had discussed in the first lecture about the risk factors of diabetes, you don't get close to the risk factors because they are the beneficial environmental factors which is letting the seed to germinate, which is letting the disease to come up. You break down on that level, disease will not come.
Yeah. Fine. Understood. And I think, for that, it's important that you be, in touch with the right diabetologist who can help you manage that. So, Nirmal Jain is asking a question to recommend best medicine for diabetics. I think that's a full call, Dr. Maybe if you want to share your details directly for them, because, each case is unique.
No fixed formula. If you say which is the magic potion, जिसको लेकर के मेरे को diabetes ठीक हो जाए, तो I'll say focus on the first three factors. Because the fourth edge of the management, it is very individualized. We cannot use the same set of medications for everyone. We have to understand which part of your body, where need help, and how we can help them in the most effective way with the help of medication.
Yeah. Great. Excellent. Wonderful. So those who really wish to, connect with Dr. Saurabh can please write to us. Our mobile numbers. You can, even, ping me also. I'm putting my number here. And yes, so this is my mobile number. And I can forward your request to Dr. Saurabh. You can, write to us at, I'm giving you another email ID on which you can forward your request. So you can write to us, and we'll be happy to connect you with Dr. Saurabh. And in case there is any other question also left out, you can forward your queries to us. We will be happy to help you. Today we discussed with Dr. Saurabh, the entire lifestyle changes aspect, which includes the four the pillars. You can say the four legs of the chair, which includes, of course, removing the medication one, the other three. One is the changes which you bring to your life, the yoga, meditation, pranayama, the exercises, and of course, the diet and nutrition. So these are very important aspects which we need to really take care of in our life. And if you really want to get into that zone that you want to manage your diabetes well and get rid of it, and maybe sometime in future, Dr. Saurabh, they can have their favorite sweet again.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Dr. Saurabh. It's over to our managing trustee, Commander Mr. V.K. Khala.
Thank you, Sharadji. It was really a nice session what we had today.
It was a pleasure to be with you, and I hope everyone benefited from the session. And we look forward to have more from you.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharad. Thanks so much for conducting the session so well. And Saurabh, as always, Dr. Saurabh, the way you explain things, you make it so simple, Last time you talked about कि भी चौकीदार कैसे खड़ा है बाहर and manage कर रहा है, that's how insulin works. And this time you put, energy relation to paisa कि भी if I have more energy or, पैसा ज़्यादा है तो मैं कैसे खर्च करूं? right? So that similarly, I think it हमारे viewers के लिए it becomes very easy to understand and relate things. You talked about stress management and importance of stress. I think हमारे एक दर्शक ने सवाल भी पूछा उसके ऊपर कि स्ट्रेस का और डायबिटीज का क्या रिलेशनशिप है, उसका आपने बहुत सुंदर जवाब दिया कि भी कैसे हमारे यहाँ स्ट्रेस हार्मोन्स जनरेट होते हैं, they can impact function of various body parts and that can impact your diabetes too. And you talked about so wonderfully about practicing gratitude every day morning when you get up, do this, do that, be thankful to what we have in life. I was talking to somebody, जो लोग जीवन में जब हम चलते हैं, कुछ लोग हमारे से ऊपर होते हैं, कुछ लोग हमारे से नीचे होते हैं, कुछ बराबर होते हैं, और हम लोग हमारे से ऊपर वाले को देख के दुखी होते रहते हैं and generate stress rather than look at people who are not as fortunate as you are and be happy with that. Forgiveness की बात करी आपने, which is another very important part. एक सूत्र है इसके ऊपर, which you might like to say when you go to bed, which runs like this, खामे में सव्य जीवा खमंतु मैं, मिट्टी में सब भूयसु वैरम मजन के नहीं. मैं सब जीवों को क्षमा करता हूं और सब जीवों से क्षमा मांगता हूं, मेरी सबसे दोस्ती है और मेरा कोई दुश्मन नहीं है. So when you repeat these things again and again, I think you internalize it and that helps you in the long run. And then he talked about plan your day. Exercise, of course, is very important. एक और जो नई चीज हमने सीखी आज, एटलीस्ट मुझे नहीं पता था, was हम करते थे but do anti-gravity exercises. I would climb stairs but never thought in terms of anti-gravity. So think in terms of anti-gravity exercises that you do. And एक और बात जो उन्होंने बताई, जो please don't do it very often, उन्होंने बताया कि कैसे आप चीट कर सकते हो कि आज मेरा कुछ खाने का मन है तो मैं कैसे उसको मैनेज करूं. So please, be very careful with that. Right, Dr. Saurabh? So thanks so much for that. Thanks once again. और सौरभ जी ने और शरद जी ने हमारे को अगले सत्र का भी आगाज दे दिया है कि हम बात करने वाले हैं. शरद कामरा जी बात करेंगे आकर के डायबिटीज के लिए कौन से योग आसन अच्छे हैं and how can they help you. So please join us for that session. I'll just go to my just share my screen if I can.
I'll do
Give me a minute. Is my screen? What did it do? Give me a minute. Yep, is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Great. So can I go into the slide mode, or I can start here? Okay, so we did 3 series. Today was the 3rd one, lifestyle changes to manage and reverse diabetes. 4th one is, as you said, yoga for diabetes. Sunday, 9th October. Time वही 11 बजे का. We want to thank our partners, strategic knowledge partners in IHMR and IS University. And then we have community partners who help us, spread the message across. We have area development partners, corporate wellness partners, NGO partners, and, wellness partners. Our pro bono partners, जो हमारे को, government rules and regulations को, financing को manage करने में मदद करते हैं, उनका हम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं. Team of doctors, Dr. Sudhir Bhandari ji, Dr. Sheila Nambiar ji, जो हमारे advisors हैं. And then we have Dr. Sunil Jain and Dr. Rashmi Jain, a wonderful couple who help us out on a day-to-day basis. और आज उसका एक और उदाहरण हमने देखा, उनके परिवार से डॉक्टर सौरभ जैन, जिन्होंने आकर के इतने अच्छे तरीके से हमारे को बताया. Then we have Dr. Chavi Mehra. Dr. Chavi Mehra भी डायबिटीज के ऊपर बहुत अच्छा काम कर रही हैं. Our core team and advisors, Harminder Multani ji, Adi Gurudas, Jitendra Gautam, and Arushi Jain. Then we have our ambassadors, Mahavir Pratap Sharma ji, Neeta Buchra ji, और Major General CP Singh साहब. इन सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. मैनेजमेंट टीम, जैसा कि आपने देखा वीडियो में, हमारे फाउंडर्स, हु इज द फाउंटेन हेड ऑफ दिस, मिस्टर नरेन बख्शी, मैं विंग कमांडर काला, शरद कामरा जी को आपने सुना, तुषार गर्ग जी हमारे को टेक्निकल सपोर्ट देते हैं, उमरदीन जी और मोहम्मद अजरुद्दीन जी सी। बार बार हम रिपीट करते हैं, पहले हम बात करते थे कि भी हम कौन है, हम वो हैं जो हम खाते हैं। नया मंत्र है, वी आर व्हाट वी नॉट ओनली ईट बट व्हाट वी मेटाबोलाइज, व्हाट वी एब्जॉर्ब, एंड देन फाइनली डिटॉक्स, व्हिच इज इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट। सो प्लीज रिमेंबर, ईट, मेटाबोलाइज, एब्जॉर्ब एंड डिटॉक्स। और इन सब के अंदर मदद करते हैं हमारी, क्या एक्सरसाइज करते हैं हम, क्या खाते हैं हम, they help us. Once again, our fourth session in this series, initially हम लोग 3 से शुरू हुए थे कि 3 करेंगे, फिर हमें जो इनपुट मिला उससे लगा कि भी एक और सेशन होना चाहिए, and that's why we are added yoga for diabetes, 9 अक्टूबर सुबह 11 बजे, our expert Mr. Sharad Kamra. Please follow us on YouTube, follow us on the Wellness Code, our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and also on LinkedIn. So we are available on all the social media platforms. You can connect us with whatever is convenient for you. मैं विंग कमांडर विद्याकांत काला, माय क्रैक द वेलनेस कोड फाउंडेशन की तरफ से आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं। Please note change in our website. It's www.india.mycwc.org. Our mobile number 733-995-1157. Do write in, do drop in messages and give us your inputs, give us your feedback so that it helps us improve and bring good programs with you, bring experts like Dr. Saurabh Jain to you to come and talk about their area of expertise. Thanks once again, Sabhi Darshko ka. Thanks so much, Dr. Saurabh, and thanks Sharad for conducting it so well. And thanks to our technical team for giving a wonderful support to us from the background. Thank you. Jai Hind. Have a great day.